Arunca or Lua, but we'll have to wait probably a couple weeks for some info on them. However, there is still a lot I want to talk with y'all about in terms of the Advent rerun, the new arena sets, and especially, guys, with DN and the FMA collab wrapping up. Smilegate is now bringing out a bunch of other banners coming up here. So I want to go through each and every single one of them, give my take on all of it, especially, let's see if we can get through. There are some juicy normal banners here, boys, so I'll tell you guys what's what on each individual one, but the Mystic Summon rotation is also kind of juicy. So let's get into all that as well as anything else covered in the patch preview. And without further ado, let's get into it. Boys, I'm happy to announce we are back and sponsored by Lootcakes, and if you play Epic 7, doesn't matter if you are a free-to-play or a whale, if you like free gift cards, listen up. Lootcakes helps you get more virtual goods in your favorite games. How? By sharing receipt emails you get from Google Play, Apple, and Steam from your purchases in free-to-play games, and by discovering and playing new games that Lootcakes recommends to you based on your gaming preferences. By playing and spending in games, you earn and win Lootcakes, their virtual currency, which is redeemable for gift cards to major gaming platforms like Google, Apple, Amazon, and so much more. Even if you're not a big spender, you can win up to $100 in gift cards every week just by watching game trailers, installing new games, and completing achievements in those games. Lootcakes is also sponsoring a $25 gift card giveaway for our channel, so see the video description below for details and a link to join. For those who already joined Lootcakes, the website has been completely redesigned with a new look and new features, so if you haven't logged in lately, take another look. Lootcakes is currently for US residents only and requires a Gmail account to share receipts. New countries and email linking methods are coming soon. So gentlemen, help support the channel by using the links in the description below. Start gathering your Lootcakes to redeem for gift cards. Take advantage of the $25 giveaway just for this channel. Thank you to Lootcakes for sponsoring us, and let's get back to the video. Alrighty, y'all, let's go ahead and pull up the Here's the Thing with Mosh, and we'll just browse through it, eventually ending with all the banners and the Mystic Summon, so I can help you guys talk about, if any of these are worth your time, your effort, your hard-earned bookmarks and Mystic Medals. We'll go through and I'll give my take on every single unit we're going to see in the banners, including the RGB, the red, green, blues. But first, let's go ahead and start with the Here's the Thing. And this video, guys, even though, remember I said not much in terms of new content, but we have a lot to talk about, well, look at this video here. Over half of the video is just this Here's the Thing AFK screen, which is okay. This is taken straight from the live stream, and they like to start it early, but it's just kind of funny to see over half the video. Here's Moshu finally coming in. Hair looking great as per usual. This man works harder than almost anyone I know. Awake at 5 a.m. just like me. But let's go ahead and look through it. So here's the update summary. We have Advent Side Story, Kiss of Frost with Elisia of the Frost looking great. Book of Memories, Arena Schedule, and sorry, I scrolled through a little too fast. The Guild War schedule. So the arena schedule and the Guild War schedule, not too much to talk about there. Most of y'all don't really care. New seasons coming out, meaning we'll be able to refresh the slates. And the arena gear I want to talk about. We'll quickly look at the attack set. Guild War schedule, nothing really important there to talk about too much. And then the Book of Memories, we get a new story in there. And then Advent. Advent is one where I want to spend a little bit of time before we go into the summon banners and talk about each of them. So let's start with the Advent. Real quick, so Elisia of the Frost, guys, just to take y'all through memory lane, a trip through memory lane. Advent side stories have been out for a while now. We started with Elisia, I believe. We went ice into earth into fire, something like that. And it's interesting to see, Mashi mentioned this is a rerun, so I'm wondering if they're going to keep her exactly the same in terms of both her her boss skills, how the combat plays through, as well as the drop table, because that's the important part. I'm going to tell you all why you might want to be farming this here in a second, but we're going to get a preview tomorrow, so we'll see exactly if they keep the skills the same, if it's a pure rerun, copy paste, and then she'll actually be released next week and available for 2 weeks after that. So Advent side stories have been coming out for a while now. It's a more difficult PvE mode. A lot of y'all playing, if you just started, might have some issues with it, but most y'all should be able to complete at least the very, very easiest mode. And even if you can't unlock everything in the shop, I believe Smilegate gives you access to like 90% of it, even if you can just farm the base mode. And I know even some veterans will just farm the base mode as well, just because it's a lot easier. You don't have to try hard and swap a lot of gear around, because it is a difficult mode. So those of you that like challenges, it is rewarding. We'll have to see though if it's exactly the same as last year's. So overall, It's a more complicated, more difficult mode that gives some good rewards. You can eventually just set up auto teams for it, depending on, I think the hardest difficulty has a 5 time limit. So you either auto or manual it 5 times, and you start farming the easier modes for the currency. You empty out the shop, and on top of that, some of y'all might want to set aside some energy to constantly farm it, as it is the best source for sub gems ever. It's way better than farming expos. The only thing is, depending on what sub gems it can drop, sometimes they have a table, and the sub gems may not be, you know, good ones. They might be some subpar gems that you may not need. So we'll have to see the drop table for it, but this is coming out soon. No matter what, all you should try to farm it at least on the easiest mode, and some of y'all watching might want to farm it past all the currency, all the emptying out the shop, just to get those sub gems. Okay, so that's the gist of it. We'll see more info tomorrow. Just get a heads up and start getting yourself prepared, because it'll be coming next week. You do want to take advantage. Book of Memories, new story in there. That's always nice to see. Get a few mystics. Arena Triumph season begins. Mashu shows one piece of gear, and I'm actually going to open up the stove notes here in just a sec, guys, and we'll talk about that. You know what? Actually, let's go ahead and pull that up now. Let me just pull it up real fast. Alrighty, boys, I have the stove notes pulled up for all the arena gear. Let's talk about it real quick. So arena season is resetting. Unknown slate once again will be refreshed. Before you think about pulling any of the gear, boys, make sure you always pick up the slate, and hopefully you got the slate for free in your mail, the additional one from the watching the WC, the World Championship. But let's talk about the arena gear real quick. So quick side tangent, I see a lot of people always say, you know, the arena gear is a scam, it's not good. The reason people say that, boys, is because for other comparable 88 gear, if you are new, let's say gear that drops from Ancient Inheritance, Events, or Hell Raid, other 88 gear are weighted to roll higher, and they start with higher base stats. Meaning, if you look at an 88 gear from the Ancient Inheritance, the Guild War mode, the health on that piece, I believe, would start at 9%. So 8 or 9%. They start with higher base rolls. This is just a normal 88 gear. Besides the speed, they actually put 5 speed on here. Everything else, though, like the crit chance, crit damage, would be higher on a 88 piece of gear from other areas. On top of that, the range of rolls, these are weighted to roll lower than that equivalent 88 gear. So just in general, these are worse off than other 88s. However, I still think they're definitely worth going after, especially the newer you are, as they're still very good for PvE, even when they come with effectiveness, as effectiveness is still insanely good for hunts, expos, things like that, where we want to land those defense breaks, other debuffs, and we can just relegate this to PvE gear. And some of it might still be relevant for PvP, like I mentioned, the newer you are, as some of the subs can be very good. Like the neck all has relevant sub stats. The chest piece in general looks really nice too. You just got to make sure you roll it well. Sometimes they'll just roll like crap. So overall, definitely go for it. Things like the chest, the neck are very good. Boots can be insanely nice. Attack set for 0 speed, you know, one-shotters, etc. Don't neglect these. Think about pulling them, especially if you're newer, as they are discounted at the start. Attack set in general, not really super sought after compared to things like speed set or maybe even destruction set now, but it can still definitely be worth it, and 45% attack is nothing to scoff at. So don't write these off. If you see people like poo-pooing on them, they can still be good. Just understand why people maybe don't like them as much as other 88 gear. So the set looks good. Smilegate did a good job on some of them. Just, you know, arena gear is arena gear. Pick it up when you can. It's just not as good as some other 88s. So with that being said, let's go ahead and pull back up the Mashu. Here's the thing, and let's keep moving on. Let's get into the juicy area. All the summon banner. Guild War real fast, guys. Guild War Conquest season ending. Don't really care too much. If your guild is going for a frame, good luck getting top 30, top 100, whatever it might be. For everyone else, it's just an annoying feature when this resets, because now we have to reset to 0. You have to fight guilds that you shouldn't, like if you're in a high-end guild, you have to fight new guilds and bully them. If you're a new guild, you have to fight some high-end guilds and just get absolutely crushed. And on top of that, we all get way less mystics as we have to regrind our ranks. I hope Smilegate redoes this eventually, just adds in some matchmaking, and don't reset our mystic metal gain. It's just 4 years into the game. This is just kind of it's just getting annoying. But anyways, it is what it is. Let's move on to the juicy part, the summon banners. Alrighty, boys, let's start with Litika and her artifact Sword of Judgment. We have a grand total of 7 heroes and 4 artifacts to talk about, so let's breeze through these quickly. Litika and the Sword of Judgment, neither of these are must pulls. They're not in the best spot. Only pull for Litika if you want Faithless Litika imprints, if you want to finish the journal, or you really like her design. She's not a bad unit by any means, just not a great one or a meta one. She can be used in PvE and PvP as an opener. In PvE, she still has that really nice combat readiness pushback, good on certain abyss floors. Her artifact, I've been waiting for a ranger to make this look OP, the extra attack. Still hasn't happened. I've been sitting on like 5 copies forever. Hasn't been buffed. Hasn't really been great. So overall, not a must pull by any means. Only pull if you really like Litika or want Faithless Litika imprints. We're going to talk about Litika later. All right, moving on, guys. This is a huge one. We got REIN and the artifact Sword of Winter Shadow. I have 1 copy of each. I don't really play cleave style, so I don't use either very much. Guys, let me know in the comments below who you're using Sword of Winter Shadow on. I haven't found a use for it yet. So in my opinion, not a must pull, but for some of y'all, REIN could be a must pull unit as he is extremely strong. Let's talk about his strengths real fast. In terms of the artifact, though, instead of Sword of Winter Shadow, I see most REINs running either RNL, Rihanna and Lucella, the Thief Artie, or things like Silver Rain. So keep in mind, I'm not sure if players actually use Sword of Winter Shadow on him. REIN users, let me know in the comments below. That being said, the reason I don't use him is because I'm not a cleaver. I'm not a big aggro player. That is REIN's specialty, right? One of the fastest, or I believe tied for the fastest base speed in the game. An extremely strong opener, has some of the best debuffs, and can do some insane damage. He is a terror. I pre-ban him all the time because I just don't want to deal with him. In RTA, those of you that like that style, cleavers, definitely pick him up if you don't have him already. One of the most powerful units, like I mentioned. Excuse me. Mashu said in this video, though, guys, that, you know, the only thing you want on him is speed. Kind of paraphrasing. I know what he's going for. Those of you watching, since he is an opener, the most important thing is that he goes first. But beyond that, boys, you will want to build damage on him, especially once you start climbing up in the ranks in real-time arena. Once you start getting higher and higher up, you want your REIN to both be high speed. So, guys, higher than 300 if you can. 310. Some people are pushing 320 plus REINs. If you want to get into the speed game, it is very difficult. Keep that in mind. And then on top of that, make sure he has damage too. It is not an easy task. Just, I want y'all to understand, when you start pulling for REIN and you want to play that speed game, it is very difficult to gear to get both damage and speed, let alone just speed itself. So keep in mind, but if you do like that style, the cleave style, definitely pick him up for sure, okay? So take advantage while he's out. He's only going to be out for a week. I expect a lot of people to be pulling on that banner. Next up, guys, Violet banner is also very good. I mentioned on my tier list that I did for the Amazon channel for the selector that he is one of the best units to pick up for new players. Let's quickly talk about his Artie Violet Talisman. This is not a must-pull Artie, but if you do like it, you do want to max it out, as it is a very good scaling artifact that gives damage and evasion chance. The only issue is other artifacts like comparable competitive artifacts like Moonlight Dreamblade give the full value from the start of the match. If you can't fully scale up the Violet Talisman, if you can't play a longer match, it loses value compared to those immediate gain arties like MLDB. So just keep that in mind, boys. A lot of people don't like it for that reason, that you have to play a longer match. You have to make sure it fully scales up, and in that case you want to have it, you know, can be a slightly whaley artifact as you want to max limit break it. But it can be good if y'all like to play that more tanky style. I've never used it, even as a tankier player, so mainly because I don't have, you know, max limit break. So just keep that in mind when we talk about Violet Talisman. Violet himself, extremely good for new players. He does fall off for more veteran players as he has a lot of weaknesses that can be abused, but he's good both in PvP and PvE for every single player watching. So if you don't have him yet and you are newer, I highly recommend it. If you're a veteran and you don't have him yet, consider picking him up still, as he does have some niche matchups, especially on immunity versus units like REIN. He can be super good in that matchup, so I think he's still very good for all players, regardless of where you're at in the game. That being said, Mewy, just like Litika, not in the best spot. Both her and her Artifact Circus Fantasia are not must pulls. Only get her if you really like her design, which, guys, she does look amazing. Both her and her Artie look absolutely amazing. One of the best waifu designs in my opinion, but just not a must have, not a must pull, not in the best spot. Maybe she'll get buffs later. Can be good if you really like her. I shouldn't say good, can be decent if you really like her, but not meta at the moment. Control players that like to go outside of the box can make good use of her though. All right, guys, let's get to the juicy portion, the Mystic Summon rotation. This is a stacked lineup, so once Commander Pavel leaves, which is very soon, our reruns are going to be Apoc Ravi, Faithless Litika, and Solitaria. Let's start from left to right, talk about them really quick. Apoc Ravi, boys, will be the skin this season for Masters. If you can lock in Masters, you'll get a awesome looking skin for her. And if you want to, guys, if you want to stop by the Twitch channel, link in the description below. If you want to just follow and stop by any day, I'm starting the Master Climb review series. So if you're a new player, you want me to look at your account, give you some tips on locking in that Masters to get the skin, stop by. I can help you out. That being said, Apoc Ravi is just, if I had to give the title of a perfect bruiser to a unit, it would be her, okay? Smilegate, after the buffs, made her one of the just easiest to use units, easy to gear, easy to play, and one of the strongest that can be used in every single playstyle, can be picked first. She's just has so few weaknesses, will always provide value no matter your playstyle, no matter your gear level. Just keep in mind, guys, if you are lower gear, there are units that can prey upon her like Hua Young. But in general, generally speaking, she is probably the strongest unit, just pound for pound, in terms of her versatility. So anyone watching, if you don't have APOC Ravi yet and you want her skin too, consider picking her up. After she comes out on this banner, it might be a while till you can get her again, okay? In the middle, we have Faithless Litika, who after buffs, I've been seeing a lot more often. I've actually just built up an Elena just to fight her with Grace of Growth. But she is typically seen in more aggressive comps, cleave and aggressive or aggro styles, similar to Ran. She isn't as fast as Ran, so you can't use her as an opener if your opponent has higher speed. Just keep that in mind. But when she is uncontested, she is absolutely insane. She has good synergy with the new unit, Commander Pavel. And her damage, guys, after the buffs have been absolutely insane. I've been fighting her a ton in RTA. I think she's the real deal. Not super easy to use, but if you do like playing that faster style, consider picking her up. All right, guys, last but not least, we have Solitaria, who is super annoying to fight against. But if you like playing control, if you like hard countering certain units that use focus, you really want to get her. This is a unit where she may not be as used as like Apocalypse Ravi, for example, but when you do lock her in, guys, she's a nice unit to have in your toolkit for your veteran PvP players. If you're newer, I think picking up a unit like APOC Ravi is more bang for your buck, as you don't really want to first pick her. She does have some hard counters, but she does hard counter some focus units like Archdemon Mercedes. She can lock down entire squads if they don't bring a Cleanser Boys and she is uncontested. She will literally, quite literally lock down your entire opposing team, especially when combined with artifacts like Abyssal Crown. So the fact that she can control, the fact that she can open, the fact that she just hard counter certain units, I think she is a good unit to pick up. All three of these are very strong, but in my opinion, APOC Ravi, most important, Faithless Litika if you're a cleaver or aggressive player, and Solitaria if you're control or want her as a toolkit to counter certain problem picks like Archdemon Mercedes. Just one of the very few that she counters, okay? Or one of the many, I should say, that she counters. All right, guys, let's wrap it up there. I think to keep the video from going on too long, if you have any additional comments, stop by the live stream or leave it in the description below. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.